Okay, hello, welcome in to Over the Cushion. Oop, I got a sad doggy next to me. Well, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Welcome in. Let me just pull up my notes real quick here. I can thank all the wonderful people that help this happen. All right, a little bit of a crazy day here. Come on, work. All right, so welcome in everybody. I'm Ron Thelman, my partner Kyle Hervey. Welcome to Over the Cushion, powered by MCM Contracting. Serving the Lehigh Valley for over 33 years, owned and operated by Mark Daniels. The show is all about dirt track racing, covering news and current events, and talking to different drivers every single week. So appreciate them for coming on. And huge thanks to our other sponsors, Bodie Marks Racing, the Shop Automotive Detailing, or theshopdetails.com, Smith Fabrication, Stage 1 Modifieds, DH Graphics, ProTech Roofing, Nate Freed Racing. Really appreciate everybody that helps out. If you'd like to be a sponsor on the show, definitely reach out via Facebook Messenger or email me at ripphilliptv@gmail.com. We are live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern here on Facebook and YouTube. So full versions of those, if you didn't catch them live, will be on those platforms. So appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Let me get Kyle in here. What's up, Kyle?
Not much. What's going on, Ron? How are you?
Nothing. I got a whiny doggy next to me, so
I might hear during the intro.
So what's new, man? How's your week? You enjoyed the sunshine yesterday?
I did. It was very nice. It was 73 degrees. I was very excited and enjoying that. I'm excited to get the micro together and turn some laps at Hamlin Bug Day next week.
Oh, the announcement, the big announcement.
Yeah, got one of my buddies coming up to turn some laps in the car as well to get some seat time. So hopefully you and I can do a little bit of content about that. One of our former guests on the show, Kyle Taraska.
Yeah, I'm really considering. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Big pavement guy.
Pavement guy for sure. Depending on, I don't even know what time it starts, or I have no idea. But I'm hopefully maybe I can get a table down there, and we can do a recorded fun little show or something, or do some fun little content we can break up.
Yeah, maybe do a couple short sit down interviews or something like that with both of us interviewing drivers in person. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, just like we'll just leave it open. Like, you ever see those TikToks where they just like have a table that says "Come talk to us"?
Yeah,
we'll just do that. And we'll just ask funny, silly questions.
That would be cool.
That would be super cool. Do something fun to do, and then start getting some sick footage.
Yeah,
I just found out I can shoot 1080p 120 frames on the drone, so we're gonna have some slow motion shots. So make sure to get that roost going so it'll look cool.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm excited to see that. That's gonna be a cool addition to everything that you already have.
Yeah, we're gonna push hard this year. It's gonna be fun, and hopefully get some live shows at the track. Maybe if we get there early, if I can get there early enough, I can talk to different people or something. Maybe I'll do one on the track.
There you go.
We can do, what did they do on Flow? They do the one track, one beer. Who does that?
I have no idea. I haven't seen that.
Somebody does that. Yeah, he just like takes a lap he walks a lap of whatever track they're at and has like one beer with the person. He did it with Kyle Larson and some other people.
That's cool.
Speaking of Kyle Larson, gets the dub today in Richmond.
Yeah, I always loved Richmond. That was a pretty wild race. I felt bad for Willie B there. I thought he was gonna have a shot to win it and got dumped.
Dude, good for him. Are we talking about Josh Berry or somebody else?
No, William Byron.
Oh yeah.
Josh Berry.
Who cares? Josh Berry finished second. That's all I care about. I really wanted to see him win in like as a stand-in. That'd be unprecedented.
That would have been cool.
Also, feel bad for JJ Yaley. Getting dumped, absolutely trashed by Benny Hamlin for.
Is it Hamlin or it was Hamlin.
Hamlin's the one that's been complaining like there's no respect. Gets like a little. We watched in-car over and over, and it's like he like rubbed him a little bit, but like stayed in his line, and Hamlin just like pulled down behind him and just took him out.
Was there break? See what Hamlin was pissed about. Like,
was there brake checking or something?
I think it's just the fact they were 3 wide and JJ just cleared himself up a lane. I don't know if JJ didn't know he was 3 wide on the bottom or what, but he pinched Denny,
Oh,
and
boo,
Denny got
boo,
bent out of shape about it.
boo.
I don't think Denny meant to wreck him like
Oh, he
that. But
100%. I'm
I
sticking to
think
my
he
guns.
meant to get him out of the way, but
He's like, this is a guy I can pick on because he's not really
Right.
a big name. So
I'll tell you what, I
he
can't wait to
dumped
watch
him.
or listen to Actions Detrimental, Denny's podcast tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see if he won't say it this time because he got fined last time he said he did it. But I'm sticking to my guns. I think he flat out wrecked the dude. Got a little butthurt about some like close racing.
I don't think he'll get fined for it this time.
He won't. He won't because he won't say anything this time.
He wrecked him pretty good though.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's like brake. I didn't watch before, like laps before. Like I don't know if he's getting brake checked or like.
I don't know.
Because like that seems like a little minor incident to get really triggered and dump
for
somebody.
nothing because he ends up picking up another penalty at the end of the race too and just puts himself out of it
Yeah.
again. So
Well, that and his pit crew kind of screwed him after that one pit stop. They like didn't put the
it
wheel back on all the way. Like, ooh. Well, congrats to Kyle Larson. Big congrats to Josh Berry for a second place finish in Chase Elliott's car. That's like incredible in itself, especially in these cars, in my opinion. But any dirt track racing?
I was gonna say I have no idea. I know some tracks went back to racing. I think Greenwood had their first race last night.
No, they got rained out.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they got rained out.
I like man, they got me thinking. They posted for April Fools that they were paving the track.
You're like, I got the GQ, baby.
I started thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my god, that track would be so cool paved because it's like flat around the bottom and super banked up top, and it would just be like nearly wide open. God, it would be so cool to race anything on pavement in that shaped track. It would be like a little Bristol.
That'd be sick.
Oh god, I got me so excited.
You're like, wait, I forgot it was April 1st.
No, I knew it was a joke right away, but man, it got the gears turning. I'm like, damn, that would be sick. Because it kind of be like Mahoning. I just don't like Mahoning as much because it's no straightaways. You're just turning the whole time.
You're always turning, yeah. It's just like a big egg.
But Mahoning is sick because of just how much G-force you endure when you're going around there.
I wish, if I had enough land, like say I was going to build my own tracks or whatever, I'd build a really sick dirt track, and then right next to it would be the asphalt equivalent. So like Friday night would be asphalt night, and then Saturday night would be dirt track night.
That'd be sick.
That would be sick. I don't see nobody doing that.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Oh man,
what is this thing? I don't even know.
Yeah, there's a lot of rain.
Big Diamond practice today.
Did they?
I think a lot of people, like Jack Jones was up there practicing. Doug Smith. There's a bunch of people. I think Airport got their practice in, so a lot of people got to shake down the micros a little bit.
Yeah, that was last week, I think.
Yeah, I heard the one. I think 3 and 4 was nice and smooth, and 1 and 2 is just like terrible. I think somebody flipped their brand new car and tore up the whole front end. Someone was on the infield doing video and got tore up.
Yeah, that track gets like weird ruts that run across the whole corner, and you'll like build up like 3 different lanes of cushion. And if you hook them wrong, because that's how it was when we were down there with the slingshot, and that's how Jared was just kicking my ass, was he was able to run that like inside cushion perfectly and just hook it, and I couldn't get my car to hook up like
so consistent.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah, other than that, Halo Bug Day coming up on the 8th, and then opening day on the 15th. I'm gonna let my dog out here because she's crying. Come on, you can go in. Alright.
The puppy has been released.
Yeah, just trying to get in the swing of things, and doesn't matter how early you start, April's gonna rain you out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I don't think there's much. I think Millbridge was running, but I think Dale Jr. was posting a lot of Insta stories about it.
I didn't see that. I saw that they had a real good car count, I think, on Wednesday night. One of the Nye brothers posted they had like 45 micros out there, which is pretty cool for a Wednesday night show.
Seriously. I'm so psyched for this year, man. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, you want to introduce your buddy?
Yeah,
we'll get this thing cooking. I got my Lion Kugel. I'm ready to talk about racing, baby.
All right, so this week on Over the Cushion, we have one of my close friends that I've made over the last couple years through indoor racing, Cody Bleau. He is a former modified driver, raced a bunch of other cars, but the last couple years he has stepped away from modified racing and just been racing the indoor stuff and the slingshots. And we teamed up to help each other out a little bit and became pretty close friends. So without ado, Cody, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Fantastic.
What have you been up to lately, man?
Well, just kind of been quiet lately, but had a good fun-filled day today with a bunch of friends and a nice dinner, and now just relaxing for the night.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Come shoot the shit for 45 minutes with us on the podcast. It's always fun.
Yeah, some
Heck yeah.
degenerates.
So obviously I've only known you since you've been running the slingshot stuff for Andrew indoor the last couple years, and we've been working together as a little bit of sort of teammates there. But you've also raced a lot of other cars. So I mean, let's just start from the beginning and talk about what got you into racing and what were the first cars that you drove.
My father was the one that got me into racing. Obviously, like everybody else, me and him, we always went to the track to watch, and just, you catch the disease right away, and we did some like go-kart racing for a couple years. We did a little bit of like the BMX for a short time, and my brother went the motocross route, and then I went, with the four wheels, and started off in the street stocks when we moved up from go-karts, and did that for about 3 years. Had, I think, 3 wins, but we actually raced as a street stock on dirt, and did a couple asphalt races as well. So that was a lot of the early stuff there.
What did you like more in the street stock? I know you probably raced the dirt a significant amount more, but did you like the pavement?
I did. I actually just posted. I found a video of me practicing at Albany Saratoga for a short time. They took the dirt off the track and they ran asphalt. I think 2 or 3 seasons there, but I had an absolute blast. We only went up there for a few select shows, but the one race we almost won, but the engine decided it didn't want to help us out towards the end of the race, so which was a real bummer. But again, it was neat. You had a lot of the dirt guys that all obviously run up here in New York were trying out the asphalt, along with a lot of asphalt guys bringing their stuff up here as well. So it was a pretty neat mix of just all the talent from both sides of it, I guess. And it's just neat how they tried to blend some of the classes together and everything. And again, it's like, people have their favorites, pavement or dirt, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty neat, and I've raced dirt pro stocks a couple times for a couple friends that would let me drive theirs, and got to drive one. Kenny Martin let me hot lap his pro stock up there a couple times, and also got to try out a crate late model once as well. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, I always like the pavement stuff. I'd love to run I like running the dirt cars on pavement. That's fun. I always you'd probably like the slingshot on pavement as well. If they ever have any of those races again, you should try to convince Andrew to let you run them.
Yeah, I'd like to try it. I mean, any form of racing, I've always enjoyed it, and yeah, I mean, I haven't really done any racing full time for a number of years now, a couple of years, but it'd be fun to hop back in a car again for sure. But even the slingshot, I mean, I have a lot of fun. We have a good group of people that, you included, that we all get together for the indoor season. We just have fun, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and over the last couple of years since we started working together, you guys as a team have come like a long way and put together a pretty good operation. I mean, you guys just came off of what was a third place finish at Atlantic City.
Yeah, that was awesome. just everybody on the team deserved it, and we had a lot of great people come down with us, and I was happy my mom was able to come down and watch. My girlfriend Gabby came down. It was one of her first racing experiences, so she got to take it all in. And I had a lot of great family friends of ours come down as well. So we had an absolute blast, and we had Justin House as a teammate this year, and he did a lot of work on the cars. But Steve Sponda and Aiden and Tosh, they were the ones that definitely helped me, Andrew, get everything going for the winter season. And like I said, it's so much fun being with that whole group. And Kyle, having you and your dad parked next to us, and like I said, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Sometimes I take things a little bit too seriously.
Kyle gets a little out of hand.
You always try to get me riled up and everything. So, but now we got couple good photos with you and I that I still go back and look at and laugh. Me and you like wrestling and hugging at the same time at Allentown this year is a good photo, and then the photo in the trailer of me and your girlfriend sitting in your lap at AC is funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, man. You gotta have fun. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you want to win.
I didn't realize how viral that photo of me hugging you or trying to calm you down.
Yeah, a lot of people saw that. Oh man.
Speaking of the slingshots, I know this probably never happened, but Oakland Valley, I would love to see the slingshots on the go-kart, like
the road course.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Do you think it would work? Or do you think the turns are too tight?
I think it's too narrow.
Never too narrow. Just make your way through. They do that anyway. I think it'd be 5 cars wide. It wouldn't matter.
I think if you had everybody on similar setups with everything set up properly, it would work out pretty well. But if everybody's doing their own setups, I think you're going to have a lot of people that are missing the setup and just blowing corners.
So if we did it like the SRX series where we just all the cars are set up the same, like they're all the same kind of car, everything's like as close as possible to the same, and just be like, here you go, whoever's faster, have at it.
I think that would work. Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to Tim. We'll get it set up. Then I think that would grow. I think that would bring a decent crowd. Just because of like
that'd be cool.
It would be super weird. But Oakland Valley's going to be up this year, I think, for 3 times a month. I think is what he's planning on. I think on Friday nights. So that might be Oval. Yeah, the Oval, man. The dusty. I mean, it wasn't dusty when I was there, but you showed me that video. It was pretty dusty that day.
Yeah, that was rough.
It's a pretty nice little thing. But so I see that you are the 2012 Fonda Sportsman champion. At that time, were they running crate cars or was it still an open class?
They were. Let me try and remember here. I think 2000. I want to say 2010 or 2011 was the last year they had open sportsmen, but I think by 2008, and again I could be wrong, they started the crate class and they were running both divisions.
Both divisions.
And not together, but 2 separate divisions, and then the open sportsman kind of died out, and a lot of the guys either they moved up to mods or ended up buying a crate, and I think sure after that there was no more open sportsmen, and so 2012 it was just the crate class. So it was awesome. At that time I was racing for Jeff and Dave Rockefeller, and Jeff was also racing, and Jeff I think got a top 5 in points, so it was definitely a good season for the whole team in general. But before that I had just raced my own car that me and my dad had purchased from Jimmy Davis, he's been my racing hero my whole life, and he also for 2010 2011 he'd let us keep the car at his shop, and he'd teach me about it and help get the car ready. And at the same time too, that allowed me to go to some of his races and help and learn with all his guys. So um, and then 2012 again, we raced for Jeff and Dave and got the championship. So that was definitely one of the highlights of my racing career.
It's amazing. I mean, that's a competitive track. I mean, was the layout pretty much the same as it is now? Like, I mean, it's a big track though.
Yeah, I mean it's
Pretty the
pretty much
same.
the same. Yeah, I know Dale's like not track configuration, but I know Dale's done a lot of updates to the speedway now.
Yeah, I mean that guy's just
When
on another level with his promotion and his series, man. I mean, like just like he just stands out.
oh yeah, oh my God, he's
It's
he's on
crazy.
top. He's on top of his game, that's for sure. So I there's some stuff I don't really keep track of, but they're still, I still have a lot of friends that are racing, so
Hmm.
I'll get updates from them sometimes, and good or bad updates from them, which sometimes I can laugh at them. But they it's all, like I said, Dale's doing a great job with the speedway. A lot of the tracks up here are doing a lot of good things from what I've seen. Again, I try to go to the tracks a couple times a year, each one that's up here,
Yeah,
and see some friends and stop in, say hi, and watch. And each track's doing its own thing, so it's neat to see that. And they're doing it for both the drivers and the fans.
yeah,
So that's always a positive for the sport up here.
yeah. I mean, New
I
York
mean,
is like that's like the hub of Northeast modified racing is New York. I feel like
absolutely. Yep,
you got
sure is.
so many good tracks up there, and they're still being run super well. But Dale's just he's a madman, dude, and he looks super young. So I don't know. He's just like really good at getting money from people. I don't know. I just like even the Delaware race a couple nights ago was just like even with all the rain, it was just fantastic. Really good racing, and Shepard won, so that's a plus,
Yeah.
in
That
my
was a
opinion.
last lap pass or
Yes,
something like
sir.
that, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
Guler hopped the cushion in 1 and 2, and Shepard got under him.
Yeah.
I was a good race. Maybe some. I know a lot of people don't like Shepard, so they probably didn't think it was a good race, but it was great.
Yeah. You got to have respect for the guy though, whether you like him or not,
Yeah,
for just sometimes I've watched him race, and I've seen him run a car. I think I was at Weed Sport, and it wasn't he wasn't racing for himself. It was another team, and the car was one of like the worst handling cars I've ever seen in my life. Like you could tell like he was just struggling with it. And then he goes out, starts in the back of the feature, and goes all the way up through and wins. And I'm just sitting there with my mouth open, like, what just happened? Like,
oh my gosh,
what?
he had a similar thing last season with Utica Rome because he was running points. So I think his car blew up and somebody let him run their car in the feature. I think he finished like
Yeah,
top 10 or top 5 or something. But the
really,
next week, the guy that let him use his car won the feature. So it's like those guys
really.
took that car, like he must have done all his changes and stuff, set it up for himself, and they must have took it home and just didn't touch a single thing. They're like, "This car is perfect. Leave it where it is. We'll bring it back." And they ended up. It was a dual feature that night, so I think Shepard finished top 5 or something, and the guy that let him borrow his car won the race. Just like that's really impressive too. It's just like he knows what's up, man. He won a ton of races last year, and yeah, that dude's he's on another level. It's just I don't know. Some people just have it, like him, Brett Hearn, Billy Pouch, and stuff.
Yeah,
Like those guys are just leaps and bounds. I don't get how they do it.
yeah. And sometimes, I mean, sometimes you love to race against him, sometimes you hate to. But Danny Johnson has always been one that impressed me. How he can,
Yeah,
jump into any car and drive it to the front. And I've like I said, I was talking about Jimmy Davis earlier. I've seen him do the same thing. Um,
I remember watching. If you remember Chuckaculis at 5 Mile Point, you remember that name?
no, yeah, I recognize the last name.
Yeah,
Yep.
that dude was unbelievable. I used to watch him race against my uncle, and that dude just won all the time up there. I think he's a leading feature winner at Penn Can and 5 Mile, I think. But
Wow.
you'd watch him go, and it didn't even look like he was turning his wheel. Like, you'd watch from the
Really?
infield, and it just his wheels didn't look like they turned ever. And he's just so fast and so smooth that no one could catch him. It was wild. He won a lot of features and a lot of championships. But yeah, it was. Some people just have it, you know. I don't. It's just how it is. Like, I could never do something like that. Like, I'll stick to filming.
You'll have to give it a shot. No.
I mean, I've driven a factory stock a couple times. I've driven slingshot, and I just recently got to try 600 out, so that was kind of cool. I want more than 6 laps in it, though. I want to at least try to get some actual laps in it. Try to keep up with somebody. So, like, I see you raced the big block modified. I think Kyle sent me the 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you were the rookie of the year for Fonda in the big blocks, or is that for the Super Dirt Car series?
It's not for the Super Dirt Car series itself, but it's for the whole Northeast like Dirt Association.
Okay.
So it's an award. I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. But that was definitely another highlight that I've had.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, would it feel like running a big block modified compared to, you know, like a Sportsman? Because that thing is, I'm sure it's unbelievable power that you have to figure out how to get to the ground.
Yeah, you're gonna laugh, but there's been a couple nights where like with the rules for certain nights, you could run both divisions as long as the sanctions and stuff would allow, you know, a certain amount of races you could run with a Sportsman.
Yeah.
And usually the Sportsman for weekly nights up here, I don't know how it is in like PA or New Jersey, but Sportsmen are usually run last for the most part after the modifieds. And we went out a couple times, like I was either running a big block or a small block, and we'd go out and um, run that. And again, like even like before you go on the track, you're sitting on the grid waiting to go out, and all you do is just romp on the throttle quick, and the whole car shakes. And you know, you just get the goosebumps right away. Like, okay, this is real horsepower. Like,
yeah, this is a big boy car.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you go out and race that, and then you like hop into a crate car, and you go out on the track, and you're like, "Where'd all the power go?"
It's like you're driving a go-kart.
Yeah, but you're not flipping and sliding as much as you are in a big block, small block. But there is a difference. But again, that's where there's a lot of guys that can hop, right into a big block or small block from a Sportsman and do very well. And there's also guys, it might take them like a couple weeks, but it's pretty gradual step, like you see a lot of people do well moving up. So,
yeah, a lot of younger guys are starting to really push the envelope. I think Tanner Van Doren's 15, and he's running.
Yeah,
I think he's going to run a full Super Dirt Car. I think he's going to run the Super Dirt Car series. I'm not sure. Probably.
Yeah.
Because he wants to. I was talking about the motorsports show. I was like, you got to be the youngest to win. You got to beat out Jankowski now, another youngster.
Yeah.
Jeez. And we all raced. I watched them race at Hamlin in slingshots not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gotten to the point too. Like, one of the days, like I'll stop in at the track quick, and I walk up, see a couple of my friends, and I'm like, would you bring both backup cars? And they're like, no, my kid's racing. And I was like, what? The one that was in diapers 2 weeks ago? Like,
Yeah. That's funny.
And then they're like, yeah, how's it feel to feel old now?
Yeah, right.
Not too bad if they're still beating him. Once the kid starts winning, then it's gonna get real serious, real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, it's crazy how young these kids are now that they're moving up super quickly.
Yeah.
Almost too quickly in some cases, but
yep.
It's cool to see.
I mean, it's neat. It's cool to see if they have the ability and to do it, then go for it. You know what I mean? And I mean, you gotta. you have the stuff is you have to have respect. And again, that's not, you got to earn that. And you again, it's sort of like a back and forth thing going on racing right now. But um, again, racing, you have to respect everybody who's been doing it for a while and race everybody clean. And it's all about your reputation and with the fans, sponsors. So that's a big thing to think about, especially if you're getting into the car with the big boys.
Agreed. You don't want to ruffle any feathers when you're up in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Now, who is your favorite driver that you got to race against? Since you did run a big block for a while, did you get to race anybody you looked up to? Kind of racing.
With the big block, I got to race against a lot of them. Quick funny story again. I was talking about Jimmy Davis. First modified heat race I ever went out in. My dad leaned in the car because I was sitting on the grid, and he goes, "Look who's lining up next to you." And I looked over, and Jimmy looks at me and waves, and I was like, "Oh man, that's awesome."
That's
we
great.
come out of we come out of turn 4, go down the straightaway, and I cut the corner too sharp. And Fonda used to have a wall on the inside of turn 1. I think they took it out. I'm not sure. And I hit that, and then I ran into Jimmy and popped his left front tire.
Oh no!
And I was so terrified to pass him, like, and he was struggling. And I actually, after the race, I ran right into the trailer, grabbed my wallet, and I like ran down to give him money to buy a tire. And he's like, "Don't insult me like that."
It would have been worse if you.
He's like, "It's racing. Like, what are you gonna do?" And he's like, "I'm like, yeah, I know, I feel bad." But he goes, "You didn't do it intentionally. Like, it's not a big deal." I'm like, "Oh, phew, okay."
Yeah.
Like,
Imagine if you showed up with if you showed up with the tire on your arm. You're like, "Here you go, bud." I forget who are we talking to, Kyle, when they were I think they lined up for the one heat. Was it Brett Gilmore? He said Stuart Friesen lined up on his outside, and I think Shepard was right behind him. He's like, having those kind of nerves to like, be like, yeah, this is my first race, and I got to line up next to this guy.
Yeah, it sounds like Brett.
Yeah, I think we went to Mr. Dirt Track USA at Lebanon Valley, and
that's a big track.
Woo. Yeah, that's only 15 minutes from my house, and I went there, and all my dad said, he goes, "You're starting 6th," and I was like, "Okay," and we lined up, and next thing I know, Kenny Tremont, Andy Bacchetti, Matt Shepard, Brett Hearn, and I think it was Corellis or somebody else, but I was like, that's why he didn't tell me which names were lining up.
Man, that's like Bacchetti's playground, man. That's his track, man.
Yeah,
that dude's quick. But yeah, that's a kind of a stacked heat. I mean, the amount of years just in that heat is like just in Kenny Tremont's car, that's a lot, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many guys I was so fortunate to race against. I mean, I remember it wasn't a feature event, but I had a really good battle with Billy Decker during a heat race. That's something I'll never forget.
Wow.
And even we went to Eldora in 2017 and raced with the Super Dirt Series out there.
Wow.
And as much as we were there to race, it was still cool. Like they do the 4 wide salute before you go green, and that was cool. All the fireworks and stuff going around, and you were lined up next to like the best of the best. So that was awesome to experience.
That's nutty. Yeah, just like I've been watching these guys for so long. It's like I can't imagine just lining up trying to race against them, because like I'd be like shaking in my boots, man. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
See, I'm the other way around, and Cody can attest to this because he was there for my first indoor race in the TQ at Syracuse, not last year but the year before, and I'm banging wheels and wrecking with guys who are big car drivers and everything like that, and they're screaming at me. I'm like,
who the hell are you?
Get off my racetrack, old man.
I was like, I don't know who any of these guys are. It's just a bunch of other people I got to go out there and beat, and they're wrecking me.
I
don't care who you are. I'm going out there. I'm going to try and beat you. Why are you yelling at me?
I like that mindset. Who are you? That's a very
Dude,
yeah. There was one driver. I won't say his name, but
come on.
He's pretty well known for confronting people in the pits afterwards, both verbally and physically. Kyle's dad, Bruce, came up to me and he goes, "Can you hang out in the pits for a second?" And I was like, "Yeah, why? What happened?" He goes, "Kyle and this guy on the track got together. He was screaming at him, and he has like 20 crew guys." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yes, 20 crew guys.
And Kyle came back with a car. Kyle was pretty hot. We're all like, "All right, Kyle, chill." And then he's like, "I don't know, that guy's mad at me." And I'm like, "Who?" And all of a sudden, I guess the guy was like walking down the pit lane. And Kyle, he pointed at the guy, and it's like him. And I looked and saw who it was. I'm like, "Oh, nice job, Kyle. Here we go."
That's too funny.
I didn't even know what happened. He ran into the back of me and wrecked himself, and he was mad at me.
It's your fault, Kyle. It's your fault.
Oh, dude. That was a good time.
My only similar situation, I was running a track called Red Line with the pure stock, and I was in a heat, and some guy got squirrely in front of me. I went to go under him, but I rolled his left rear with my right front. And on those cars, it's those just normal Ford rear, and it just ripped the axle completely out of it, and the tire was still on it. Immediately get black flagged. I go to pull off the track. I'm getting pelted with rocks, and their crew guys were throwing rocks at me. And then I get to my pit stall, and Michael Shane's there, and he's like, "Why don't you just sit in the car for a couple minutes?" He's just sitting there for a couple minutes. Like, don't get unbuckled. Everyone's like, oh, putting their hats down and stuff. I'm like, sorry, he got in my way.
Yeah, that's the hard part about racing too. You have a lot of friends in racing, but and it's not even intentional, but you have stuff like that happen. And there's no getting away getting away from it, whether it's a racing incident or not. And that's another thing that builds, I don't know how to say it, character, I guess maybe, but it's all about how you handle the situation. I've always found that it's better to talk to the people, if it's like a weekly track that you're going to, it's better to talk to them the following week,
Yeah.
Or if you place a phone call to them during the week. There's been times stuff has happened where you can talk to the person at the end of the night. But again, I think that's again what gains you respect on how you handle certain situations. If you come in screaming and yelling at the guy, whether it's your fault or not, that's again another situation that's worse. And I mean, I'm saying this, but I've been guilty of it in the past too. Emotions get the best of you in the car, but again, everybody's there to race and have fun, and
Agreed.
it's been all about respect. That's what my dad's told me to do my whole career, racing, and even with the indoor stuff, and there's been a couple times it's like, oh, what the heck was that about? And I'll have my buddy Steve raid and go, hey, we're here to race, we're here to have fun, let's worry about the car, let that stuff go. And it's like, you know what, you're right, let's figure out the car and go race and have fun. So
yes, sir. And as long as you learn from your mistakes and don't keep doing it, like if someone gives you an earful, like at least take something from it. Obviously they're a little ticked off and want to express that, but I don't know. I always it's entertaining from the fan standpoint, but I could never see why people get so mad. But again, I don't have a race car, so I'm sure I would get pretty heated if something happened.
I think it's one of the things too. You have a lot of young kids coming into the racing, and I think it has to do a lot. The economy is kind of tough with racing. So if something happens on the track, obviously a driver's gonna get upset a lot quicker than what it used to be,
Yeah.
And it, again, I've been guilty of it myself, but sometimes you gotta sit there and pause and be like, there's kids in the grandstands watching with their parents that want to do this someday, and the kids could be like, oh, so if that happens to me, I can get upset and throw my helmet and do all this stuff.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so I think that's one thing that drivers have to think about. And yeah, that's all it is. It goes right back to the respect thing. And again, it's how you conduct yourself, not just off the track, but on the track. And retaliation has been a big thing lately from whatever you read on NASCAR or Formula One, and that's the hard part because, like you said, Ron, a lot of people, they also go there for the drama, the stuff like that.
Yes, they
But
do.
but at the end of the day, you got to remember that could be coming by your trailer to get an autograph or at least to see the car. So
Exactly. Yeah. Even if you have a bad night, there's still someone that's rooting for you, or someone that's
yeah,
like, you know, is having a good time, and like even though you had a bad night, like the one time I got to watch Brett Hearn race at Fulton, and it was in his small block car. It was like the number 20, but he was cooking the field. He was like, he's running the outside in 3 and 4 and the inside in 1 and 2, just over and over and over, just smoking the field. The one lap he decides to go to the bottom in 3 and 4, clips the U tire, shears the left front off the car completely. Crowd goes nuts because they hate Brett Hearn, and he just kept going until he got to turn 1 and 2. But I was like nervous to go talk to him after the race because I'm like, man, he's probably in a bad mood, all this stuff. But like, nicest guy ever. Like, took the time to talk to me for a couple minutes and signed my oversized Brett Hearn shirt, the big Budweiser number 3. So
yep,
that was super cool. But like, it might be a little bit different with those guys that have been racing a long time and have won a lot of times, because like something like that doesn't really get to them as much as maybe someone who's only won like 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? They take the loss a little harder. Like the guys that have been doing it for a long time, like even if they get wrecked out, they're like, yeah, whatever, we'll get back to him next week. And doesn't really, like, it doesn't seem like it phases them after you do it for so long. So it's just racing.
yeah. And I mean, there's not. There are guys that do it for a living, but it's not to what it used to be, like back in the 90s and stuff like that.
They used to have TV coverage and everything. Man, it was like big deal.
Yeah. Yep. But you just got to remember that there's kids out there that want to be race car drivers some days, and the parents are up there, the fans. That's a big part of the sport.
Yeah.
And it's really good to see there. I know the tracks are doing a lot more programs now. Like some of them have been getting involved in schools, I guess, and bringing the cars to the schools and teaching the kids not just about racing itself, but everything that goes into a racing program. The math and the economic side of it and everything like that. So I think that's pretty neat.
I agree. Have you ever thought about getting in like a sprint car, like a one of those 360s, or like a bit?
Yep.
Because like Kyle has a sprint car.
Yep.
Micro.
Maybe you should come to Bug Day. Come on down to Hamlin, man. Maybe we could get you into Kyle's car.
I've been wanting to come down. I plan on coming down soon here, because I know I want to watch Kyle race and see Steve and watch Aiden race, and I know Faith is going to be racing too, and so I want to, like I said, it's nice to it'll be nice to come down there and at least see the whole indoor group instead of just for indoor season. But yeah, I've always wanted to race a sprint car. And yeah, my mom's listening to this too, so
she's probably like, no sprint cars. Don't even think
I'll
about it.
I'll just blame Kyle for that one.
I mean, you could always rent like a stage 1 off of Richie Smith, or like I think the XL modifieds, they rent out those things. That's like a 600 motor on a If you know what a stage 1 modified is, basically the same size car.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with a 600 motor.
Oh, okay.
I still think you should get a TQ.
You're obsessed with that damn TQ, dude.
They're so fun. It's the most fun thing I've driven. It's just
That would mean he
it's
has to
so
go on
insane.
asphalt, and dirt's the way to go, man.
Yeah, but indoor and
Yeah.
pavement, it's fun, man. It's wild.
Okay.
So I know with you starting to run indoor, I don't know if you really realized what you were getting yourself into the first time that you guys showed up to the indoor arena, because it's definitely a different beast. But just take a couple minutes and talk about what that's like and how different it is from everything that you had driven to jumping in a slingshot trying to run indoor for your first couple times a couple years ago.
Oh, well, the first thing I noticed when we walked in was I was totally blindsided by who just who was racing. And because you walk in, and I mean, then I was I think I was 29, yeah, 31 now, so 29, 28. But I walked in there, and I'm expecting to be like racing little kids or something, just some go-karts. And I walk in, I'm like, holy crap, everybody in this division does the same thing I do. They race these things during the winter, and then they go back to the full-size cars during the summer.
Yeah.
And just like the setups that go into the cars, the slingshots themselves, and the just the maintenance and everything that's going on in the pit area. It just, again, I was not expecting that at all. And like Justin was my teammate this year, and I was telling him, like, hey, these guys are no joke. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna, and he goes, I'm excited, we're gonna go down there and do good. And I was like, yeah. And he said the same thing I did my first time. He's like, these guys are no joke. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's as much as we have fun doing it, I'm like, yeah, it gets pretty serious in here.
They are not messing around, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you're up against teams like Bettler, who he's got his own experience, but now he's just crew chiefing on Cody's car, and they have their whole crew doing tires and setups and everything like that. Some of these guys are just hard to go up against.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a whole crew pretty much to, even for the indoors. I mean, we have Andrew, and we have Kim, and then you have Steve, Aiden, Tosh, and then we had Justin, Kyle, and your dad, and just Faith helped us out there. And
yeah,
you would think just show up with like one or two guys and go out and have fun, but it's like, no, you need a guy like running outside to go grind tires. You need a guy going to the parts trailer all the time. Like, hey, will this back bumper last for the heat race? Probably not. Might want to go grab another one. Like,
I mean, even this year with you guys having two cars at Atlantic City, luckily we were all able to get pitted together. So we had me with the TQ, you guys with two slingshots, and then Faith and her car owner had their slingshot pitted along with us. So we really had, four cars going, and everybody's taking turns. Poor Steve doesn't get a break. As soon as he's done working on one of your guys' cars, he's working on Faith's cars, and then he's over there hot knifing my TQ tires because I'm too worn out to do it myself.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I feel like I did the less out of everybody that was there, but yeah, just you have obviously Steve working on both cars, Aiden, and we're helping you because I go and help your dad, take you off the jacks and go out watch you practice, and I run back and I'm like, oh hey Gabby, can you go take a picture of the lineup, and where's that? And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't tell you where that is yet, and I'm like, sorry. And just there's a lot going on, but again, we have fun, but when it comes to the indoor stuff, it's no joke. I think everybody, if you go to watch, you're watching from the stands, and you just think, oh, it's a go-kart, take it off the bed of a pickup, go out there, race, and then load it up.
No, sir. Man,
it is nothing like that at all.
You should see it on the dirt, man. I mean, the maintenance, the maintenance programs these little cars have, even though they don't have many things on them, is pretty wild. I mean, it's some guys try all sorts of different things to get edges. Like the one guy used to take the car to work with him, so on his lunch breaks he could like spin the bearings or whatever to try to get them, to spin better. So I don't know, like just random stuff to just try to get any kind of small edge they could. It's impressive, honestly.
Yeah,
But it probably sets them up for the bigger cars, like doing ride heights and stuff, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, when I had raced slingshots like in the early 2000s a couple times, and again, a lot has changed since then going into, when I started racing the slingshots again for the indoors. But there's like when I was, like Kyle and Steve, Aiden all teaching me stuff and watching them work on the cars, I could see a lot of similarities that you can compare, obviously, maybe a little larger scale, going to a big block or a 358. But the setups, the way the car can adjust, you adjust the left rear, it can affect the right front. That's all stuff that goes into like a 358 or a big block. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Good, Kyle.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's definitely. Slingshots are weird though with the swing arm and everything like that, but the indoor stuff, it's crazy how many weeks in the shop it just takes to get a car ready to go indoor racing. Like a dirt car you can set up in a couple days. A slingshot or something indoor, you're spending a couple weeks on the scales and measuring everything 3 times and making sure everything's perfect to even think about running in the top 5 with some of these guys.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
It's neat. Just I mean, obviously, like racing against you, Kyle, and like the first year when I met you guys, Aiden was racing the other car, so that's where we met Steve, and the whole relationship with all of us got started, which I'm very thankful for, and just it's neat to watch you guys who do it, on a weekly basis and stuff. It was neat to learn the stuff that you guys do, not just for racing weekly, but what you guys take from that and also change to go to the indoors as well. And again, like getting to race against you guys and then racing against guys like, Brett Bieber and Cody Klein and all them, you a lot of respectable people that you meet in the indoors as well. So
I'm hoping they bring back. I mean, they had the Trenton indoor dirt track, but the last time they had it, they had the slingshots around there too, and that was like a super cool race. Like, I hope that they can get them to run next time they run indoor dirt, but
I don't think they are. I think they already posted next year's. They posted next year's schedule already.
Really, I'm surprised Tobias doesn't like push more for that. Maybe he's like whatever.
No, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think they have room anymore. Honestly, there's no there's so many micros
in the pits and stuff.
Yeah, there's so many micros there. There's the 2 tents outdoor, and they're full. So I don't think there's even room to add the slingshots anymore because they'd have to cap it. They'd have to do it like an invitational or something like that.
Because they get like I'm sure eventually they'll probably get like 100 micros or some crazy number. I don't know. Did they get 100 micros? How many micros do they have?
Probably 80 to 100, I would imagine. But
yeah,
I mean,
for speed weeks they get almost 100 cars a night.
Yeah, there's not that much room inside the arena, which is the problem. So there's 2 big tents outside at Trenton, and they're both full.
That's
nutty. That's where the slingshots usually get slammed in there.
Nutty.
I don't think they'll have them back ever. I think they said they tore up the track too much, which I can kind of get.
They tore up the track. Oh my god.
Well, what it is the slingshot with the tire they have, they don't spin the wheels at all, so they don't shear the dirt when they dig in. They just dig in and create ruts. So I think they might be right on that one. At Action Track, when they say we don't,
they're wrong.
When
man.
they say we tear up the track, I don't believe them. Though.
Dude, 40 horsepower motor with golf cart tires.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. You can't be serious, but I mean, I'll trust you on this one. I'm not a race car driver. No, it's a great class though. I mean, hopefully, Cody, you can make it up to Hamlin. We have 2 50 lappers, one in July for the I think it's the second this year, and then in September there's another 50 lapper. I think it's like 500 to win. So maybe
Those are pretty neat.
maybe we could find you a
Get your
ride,
back
and
on dirt.
I'm gonna try to find some more funding for that. Maybe make it 1,000 to win, get some more people showing up. That's the
that'd
hope.
be awesome.
Fingers crossed. But I'll be there every single week. I film all their features, and I do this year I'm gonna do some drone footage and stuff, and try to promote the track as best I can from my videos. So we'll see. But I'm just
Nice.
excited to just do stuff in racing. Like Saturday is my like favorite day of the week, hands
Yeah.
down. It's just like my escape. I don't care.
Yeah. I hope you're better than the drone pilots up here.
I just got mine. I don't have one of those racing drones. So like usually those guys that have the goggles or whatever, those are
Yep.
like racing drones that they just strap GoPros on. The one I have
really?
is an actual cinematic, like it's got a gimbal on it and everything. It's got a full on camera and gimbal. So it's everything's all the footage is stabilized, and I can shoot in 4K. I can shoot 1080p 120 frames like slow motion. There's a lot of cool things, and it can rotate the camera so you can shoot for like Instagram and TikTok too. A lot of cool little things you can do with it. But it's a pretty neat little deal.
Awesome.
So that should be a little different, hopefully. I can't keep up with the cars. Like I think it'll only go like 20 miles an hour max when it turns off all its sensors and stuff. But I should be able to get something. I hope.
Yeah, they had a drone at Fonda one time that, again, you can ask Kyle. When it comes to technology, I am not the brightest person when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, I was up on top of I forget. Oh, I was actually up on top of Friesen's trailer watching heat races, and I kept thinking it was a fly near my head, and I kept like swatting, near my ear, and I didn't realize it was somebody flying a drone like right near the trailer itself.
Oh, really? Just some random dude?
Yeah.
Holy moly. That's got a little awkward, but I mean, I know Friesen's got like a video guy.
Yeah, I don't think it was Friesen's guy. I think it was just a guy trying to figure out how to get the drone closer to the track, to film the stuff. But yeah, it just caught me off guard. I didn't. Again, I'm
Hilarious.
Hopefully, I'll get some practice at Bug Day if it actually happens. It says it's supposed to rain, so fingers crossed it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's April, so. So
yeah, this is always the time to. It's hard for tracks.
Yeah.
You gotta give all the track crews a lot of credit though for, this time of season. It's pretty rough trying to get the tracks in shape. So.
Agreed. And for Hamlin, it's just basically Randy. So he's once he gets moving, man, he's a workaholic. But yeah, he does. He especially last year, he did a fantastic job on the track. Like with all things considered, like it was a very smooth surface to run on almost every single week.
Yeah.
He did a great job. So fingers crossed for this year. It's very, very wet around here right now. I'm only about two or 3 minutes from the track where I live, so I can like ride a bike there at this point if I wanted to. So it's like everywhere else is super far away, but this one's right in my backyard, so it's great.
Yeah.
So we're kind of winding down here. At this point in the show, we usually give the drivers a chance to shout out sponsors, people who help them, and any social media and stuff. I know you're not currently driving, but the floor is yours to shout out anybody really, any businesses that you have or Facebook or whatever you want. This floor is yours to say whatever you want.
Well, my dad was always my biggest supporter, along with my mom. My brother was very patient too with our busy schedules, chasing the racetracks all the time. So, they're the number one on my list. But Greg Davis, Greg's Towing Repair, he still helps us out when we race the Slingshot indoors. He's always been great. I got to race his car for I think it was 6 years. And we weren't like the top budget team, but we took what we had and we made it work, and it was always a great time with him. And Yeah, it's hard to think of all the sponsors over the years, but this Tim Peckham's always been a huge supporter of ours. He also came on board this year with the slingshot, which was awesome. And it's the yeah, I think everybody up here, just family and friends that have been supportive over the years. And um, again, getting back into the indoor stuff, it's nice having them all behind you. And I have a racing fan page. I'm still not good at using it, but I'll have to next year. I'll have to try to get that going. It's Cody Bleau Racing. Even though I just use my own Facebook most of the time to post stuff, but I'll have to try and get the Cody Bleau Racing page working for next indoor season. But um, Steve's Fonda, Aiden, Tosh, they've all been great. Like I said, I'm so happy that they're great family friends now, and hoping I can get down there to watch them race. But they've been supportive. They've been the backbone of everything, and they've really helped me and Andrew. And Andrew, he's Andrew Millard. He's a great car owner, and we always bust on him, and he busts on us back. But we have a great relationship going with him, so I can't thank him enough for at least giving me an opportunity to, race again, since I don't do it full time anymore. But him and his fiance Kim, and again Justin House for all his help that he did. Again, he did a lot of work on the cars, and Kyle, you and your father, really appreciate everything you guys have done. And just a lot of car owners I've had over the years. Again, Greg Davis, Jimmy Davis for helping me out my whole life. Jeff and Dave Rockefeller, John Kolar, Lottie Hoyanga. I've raced for a lot of people for like one or two shows. Can't name them all, but um, I've had a lot of supportive people, and unfortunately, we've had a bunch of them pass away lately too, which has been tough. But again, I'm very grateful for having such great people around me.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us. I know we kind of went a little over the hour that we were shooting for, but the conversation was great, and it's nice to get to talk to more modified drivers in particular. Just that's my favorite kind of racing. I kind of grew up on modified racing with my uncle, so that's kind of what I enjoy the most. And then the 600 micro sprints is another one. So hopefully you can get a ride in one of those. But yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us for a little bit. I know an hour can be a long time for some people, just to take the time out to talk to us. So appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, Ron. Kyle, thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I really enjoyed getting to talk to you, know a little bit more about your early career, and hopefully you, like you said, you can come down and hang out with me, Steve, and Faith or something on a Wednesday night or Sunday night at Action Track sometime this year, and get to watch a little dirt racing with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see your neck of the woods.
For sure. Thanks for coming on, Cody.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks for everybody that watched and shared it and just interacted with the video. So that really helps quite a bit. So I really appreciate everybody that watched. Thanks again to our sponsor of the show, mainly MCM Contracting. He's been a big sponsor of our show here, Mark Daniels. So appreciate him. Bodie Marks Racing, the Shop Automotive Detailing, Smith Fabrication, the Stage 1 Modified Division, DH Graphics, ProTech Roofing, Nate Freed Racing. Shout out to Nate. Nate Freed is starting his 600 microsprint journey this year. They got rained out at Greenwood, but he said, his airport shakedown went really well. So props to him. We're live every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to watch this episode, it's going to be on Facebook and YouTube, along with all the other 25 other episodes. So next week we'll be live again. Not sure who we're gonna have, but we will figure that out this week. I promise. We'll get ahead again, because we have not, or I have not been too up to date with it. So I really appreciate everybody kind of bearing with us with that. But yeah, we'll be live